we've been unpacking the long claims of a cabal in Tinubu's administration. And, well, according to several reports that we've gotten about what exactly a cabal is and what it does, it seems that it sort of has a strong grip on the president. It gives advice and all of that. So now, where does this leave so many of the special advisors and assistants and all the advisory committees that's been set up by the president if there is a special inner caucus that's, in charge of dishing out advice that the president, of course, has to follow?
Let's look at it this way.
Okay.
You've heard of the word kitchen cabinet?
Yes.
Okay. This is the immediate circle of the chief executive. They weigh all the options. They consider all the facts. What is the best interest of Mr. President? What is the best interest of the administration? What is the best interest of the people? All the options are weighed on the table. Now, you still need to have special advisors,
yes,
because you need to employ some persons.
Oh, for employment's sake.
Yeah, you need to employ some persons. You employ some to do some dirty job. You do some to just be doing all the talking for you. You do some to hear for you. That is the Nigerian situation. Now, but the main decision is not taken by this, what I call the errand boys.
Okay.
They're not taken by the errand boys. The governor of Delta State said yesterday, he said, people are saying I'm going to dissolve cabinet. He said, a commissioner that is not performing will be dismissed.
Okay.
Governor will not take the decision unilaterally alone by himself. He's going to sit down with some persons. Strategic planning. We no longer need this man. We need this man.
Yes.
Somebody will have to do the thinking with him. Now, by and large, you still have to employ some persons who will be doing the run around. Of course, there are offices. You are not going to say because you have a cabal, you will not have a minister of petroleum resources.
Okay.
Or you will not have a minister for finance. Now, let me shock you. Certain ministries are reserved for certain persons. Special interest group. For instance, maybe you go and check this out. House Committee of Armed Forces.
Yes.
Where is the person from? Whose interest is he representing? House Committee on Immigration.
Yeah.
House Committee on NDDC. All of those allocation. That's what I call allocation.
Okay.
You're not empowered, but bring somebody to control this place. They do that. Then the errand boys are there who will be doing all the run around, who takes the fall when you are supposed to fall.
Yes.
But you take the glory when they have done a good job. So these persons are there. But the main thing is, I was telling somebody a time ago,
yeah,
whatever decision that happened in Nigerian presidency, it is not a decision taken in Nigeria, it is a decision taken in Downing Street, in London. So they take the decision, bring it to Nigeria for Nigerians to ratify. And once the ratification takes place, then you get a Mr. President. You will be seeing we have elected our president. But unknown to many of us, it is not our decision, it is our ratification. Because somebody somewhere, or some group of us somewhere, call them international cabal, if you wouldn't mind. So this person takes the decision, but there are still some errand boys in the street. Look at what happened in Russia. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Ukraine had to send special drones that destroyed $16 billion worth of Air Force assets in Russia.
Yes.
That is not possible within the range of Ukraine alone. Some persons took the decision somewhere, and the action was taken. Now, NATO has said we're not involved. The American government is saying, if you are not telling us before you hit strategic target in Russia, you are destroying our relationship. You absolve yourself from the blame. So the cabal takes a decision. And when it doesn't go down well, they hold the errand boys responsible. That is your policy. That is your program. So the Ram boss has to still be in the office representing the interests of the cabal.
Wow.
Not too well about it.
It's quite an interesting one, seeing how powerful and the sort of influence that they hold in every administration. I remember during the time of former President Muhammadu Buhari, where the wife came out to talk about how the cabal were stopping her access to her husband. So if the cabal are that strong to even stop the wife access, to prevent a wife from accessing her own husband, what can the cabals not do?
I recall that vividly.
Yes.
When Mr. President said, my wife belonged to the other room.
Yes.
Meaning the man has his room separately, the woman has his room separately. Ordinarily, that shouldn't be. Now, as a responsible man, your wife is your best companion. You get home at the end of the day, somebody has to analyze you. Somebody has to soften you. Or somebody has to ginger you. It can only come from that woman you have respect for. And that is why the saying goes that behind every successful man, there is a woman. It is not that there is a wife. It is not that there is a mother.
Yes.
It is not that there is a girlfriend. It's that there is a woman. Behind every successful man, there is a woman. Meaning that behind every failed man, there is equally a woman. And so, if a cabal can stop a man, stop a woman from accessing her husband, that is overzealousness. Or does it mean, as at that time, Mr. President was not making out with his wife? Let's be objective. Does it mean there was no intimacy between him and his wife anymore? Of course, that could be impossible. Because at the end of the day, you must come back to your house now. And your wife is resident in your house. And
I'm wondering though, for presidents and governors, if they have that normal lifestyle where they close work, get back home, and they're not making decisions all through the night, or not getting phone calls about something happening in some part of the country or in one other part of the state or something like that. Like, do they have a normal activity of, you close work, and once you're done with work, you go to your house, you get home to your family, and nothing happens? Because I remember when she posted, when those videos made it to the internet, there were so many criticisms as to what the cabal cannot do. And then we also had another politician some time ago talk about how he was sitting with the former president Buhari when the election results were announced, and then he went outside to make a call only to come back, and he was blocked entry back because powers had changed and the cabal had taken over. So that's to show you how influential these people can be. But if they are sort of influencing every decision in the country, probably they're even the ones in charge of, saying, like you talked about earlier, the people inside of ministries, parastatals, and all of that. So, how far-reaching can these people go? It seems they have no limits.
You look at it from the point of interest to the cabal. Whatever that will go against their interest, they will neutralize it. Whatever the obstacle is, they will overcome it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
In the days of Goodluck Jonathan, nobody dared restrain mommy patience. Nobody, because she has was another. Do I say a holy principality? No, she wasn't.
Okay.
Everything else. You can disturb the husband whatever you want to do, but as soon as the man comes back, this is my husband,
yes,
you cannot take him away from me. That is it. Now, on a more serious note, people should learn to understand one thing.
Okay.
There's a difference between the normal life and your leadership life.
Yes.
The governor of Delta State, for instance, has time for himself. And at the same time, doesn't have time for himself.
Okay.
Now, do you know how many calls you will be receiving on a daily basis?
Yes.
Bro, since you become governor, I never see your hand, though.
I can't even imagine.
No, those calls will always come in.
Yes.
You don't become governor, and they see you again. Those calls will come in. Your Excellency, the dualization of the Asaba, Ureli Road, how far has it gone? That will ginger the man's interest. Or somebody who will call him, Your Excellency, don't you think you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that? That will encourage the man. But when you start calling them for unnecessary, I call them unnecessary issues, you are distracting the man. You want to call him, Your Excellency, I lost my mother yesterday. The burial is coming up on the 18th of June. I want you to attend. Abba, pity the man a little. Sometimes we, the people, place unnecessary responsibility on the office holder. And it doesn't help them. It doesn't. And when they begin to isolate themselves, we will still be the same people. You know, they show face for public. He doesn't attend ceremonies anymore. But you should know that you have given the man one responsibility. And that responsibility is to take care of everyone around. One is the chief security officer of the state.
Yes.
Is the chief accountant of the state.
Yes.
Is the chief cook of the state. Mm-hmm. So you must give them this responsibility. You must allow them to operate within this nomenclature. Then there should be no distraction whatsoever. Sometimes the attitude of those who we call cabal can be so disruptive. Myself all the way. And at the end of the day, the government fails. And they will not blame the chief. People will not see the hand of the cabal.
Of course
it
not.
is the governor we are seeing. Yes. It is the president that we are seeing. There were roads done by Ogbemudia a long time ago. They're still standing till tomorrow. Ogbemudia wasn't the engineer that did the road. Ogbemudia wasn't the supervisor. But he took the glory to grave. And so what I expect in every system is, whether you call yourself a cabal, whether you call yourself a special advisor, whatever, the question is, how would I want this man to be remembered after his tenure in office? Once we're able to create that picture within ourselves, then we know how properly to assist the individual. I recall in this state many years ago, I offered to supply the state government rice at the cost of 4,500 naira per bag.
Okay. I mean, how many years ago is this?
That was let me not mention the administration, so I'm not indicting somebody.
Okay.
And somebody who was supposed to treat the letter, the proposal, told me to my face and said, we are not interested in buying rice. And I asked him one question. Do you have the capacity to take decisions for Delta State? You don't have the capacity. So all you needed to do was to raise the memo, whether you like it or not, raise the memo, send it to the appropriate quarter. If the man says, I don't want it, I don't want it, it ends at his table. That year, rice rose from 4,500 to 9,000. A week to Christmas, the same person called me. Can you say deliver that rice? I said, am I a madman? Am I a magician? How long will it take for a vessel to load in Thailand? How long will it take to arrive in Nigerian port? How long will it take for you to offload logistics and bring them to Delta State? It's not a question of 1 week. So if you had listened to me as at that time,
yes,
and government had the rice in their strategic location at 4,500, as at that time a bag of rice was going in the market at 5,000 naira already. So my argument was, let the state government do a subsidy of 500 naira. Said to the people as it is. But somehow, some persons took decision and the government is not even aware. That is where we have a problem with the cabal. They could take a decision, even the chief executive officer is not aware of it.
yes,
And so you begin to blame him. Then at the end of the day, the man takes the shit. And everybody holds him responsible and accountable. That's why I advise everybody, if you are the chief executive, every major decision, you must be aware of it. If not, at the end of the day, you'll be the one to take the problem take the blame, take the curse, and all the accusation, because you've been saddled with that responsibility. You were the one elected, not the cabal. I'm not saying you should not work with them.
Yes.
Listen to their advice. There's a story in the Bible to complement the cabal we're talking about. A man said, Absalom, this night let us pursue your father and fall on him. After we have killed David, we will restore all the followers back to you. That will be the end of it. Then another man gave another idea. I can't remember his name again. He said, Absalom, you know that your father is a man of war. Now he will be thinking like a wounded lion. If you go to him to attack him this night, and your soldiers are killed, even the people that are in your palace now will say, this king is a weakling. So I advise, gather more soldiers and go after him at the right time. And that was how God turned down the counsel of Ahithophel to nothing. At that night, if the king Absalom had followed his father, he would have killed him. But then we say God was in charge. There are times the cabal will advise you wrongly. Let's look at Mr. President when he came on board. He said, the first speech he made was,
fuel subsidy.
Subsidy is gone and gone forever. How did he arrive at that decision? Who took that decision with him? I am sure Shetima was not involved. Meaning there is a group that took that decision. And now, first subsidy is gone. Price of everything, including school fees, went up.
Yes.
Who is taking the blame?
The president.
The president. Whether the bag of rice falls down to 40,000 naira by tomorrow morning, they will still say, once in our country, a bag of rice sold for 100,000 naira in the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes.
It will go down the history. So, in essence, cabal is there, but you must be wise and sensitive by whatever decision they come up with.
All right.